It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I showed off all the red on my neck, shoulders, and chest area. I'm wearing a shirt today, so I can't show off all of it, but oh, and on my face too. Obviously we did the sideburns and the chin again, which it's a little dry, but you can see that the red is much more solid than it was. And it really did pop out the white and black in the roses and stuff. It really pulled the tentacles apart too in places, which was exactly what I was hoping it would do. But yeah, you can see, especially in the sideburns where they weren't quite as red before, you can see they were more black because, as I mentioned, we had done the black over the dagger and rose that used to be there fairly recent, so the red didn't take as well. But having done it again, it actually popped the white again because obviously red and blue contrast, as I've explained before. Black inks have a base blue to them. Blue and green pigments in black ink are very common. So you can see here we have basically what looks like almost blue and red. Yeah, so they did the trick. Obviously I had the white highlights in my face done again. Or not done again, sorry. I'm a little loopy. It's been a long day and I had a pretty fun tattoo session. So I had the white highlights done. That's third pass white on top of second pass white. It sounds convoluted. Imagine how it must feel, right? Anyway, they did the trick. Just having the high points, it does a thing where it makes the whole tattoo look brighter. So even though that's not a full third pass, it kind of looks like it is because your eye is drawn in by the high points. So again, layering gets it done every time. All of that healed up really, really easy, and it did exactly what I was hoping it would do. I really like how it interacts with the black that Rick put around the brain. Now, I have not had another session with Rick. He's been all kinds of fun lately, is all I'm going to say about that. Nothing against me or nothing with me in particular. It's that if you've watched the video I made on Rick, Rick he's got his own problems. He's got a lot of shit that he deals with on a daily basis, we'll say. And he hasn't been doing the best here at the shop in general lately. So, yeah. However that's going to end up playing out. For the meantime, he's missed 3 appointments with me in the last couple months. And it's actually because of reasons like that I stopped working with Rick many years ago to begin with. I actually went 8 years without getting tattooed by Rick. And Lee, the owner of this shop and a longtime friend of mine and my old tattoo artist who did most of my Blackout, he talked me into working with Rick for some projects that Lee didn't feel comfortable or confident in doing. Lee's more of a big, bold guy, and Rick is more of the intricate, kind of complicated, high-detailed stuff guy. So, again, different artists will have different strong suits, right? So, Lee not wanting to do a bad job of things or do a tattoo maybe that he's not interested in doing personally. It isn't so much to say that he couldn't do it, it's that it would have been done better by Rick. So he talked me into working with Rick again. You know, Rick has changed quite a bit since we were younger, which is true, but he still has those tendencies, and those tendencies make me not want to work with him sometimes. I'm a more patient man than I used to be, but my patience is not infinite. Now, I'm probably going to make a whole video on that subject sometime, so I'm just going to cap it there on it for now. Maybe people can let me know if they want to know, more of the backstory there. Tell some stories about some of the craziest shit I've been through with tattoos, not regarding the pain or the healing or anything like that, but the shenanigans around tattooing. Anyone who's spent a couple hundred or even less hours getting tattooed will know that a lot of insanity goes into that a lot of the time. More particularly in years gone by, but there still is a good degree of that today. And the whole industry is fairly unregulated, I find, still. Even though we're on the right path, the whole industry is kind of still in the shadows of the past in terms of regulation and standard practices and general decency at times. Anyway, that's a long opening rant for me. Sorry, as I said, I had a decent tattoo session today. It is fresh, and this is the first time I've had the liberty of showing off a fresh hand read out. So I believe, and I'm not sure, I'll have to check, and I will check because I'll put a note in here. I believe I showed off fresh finger and hand blackout on a vlog from 2019, but I'm not sure how fresh, or if it was like right after, or if it was after some of the swelling went down or anything like that. Anyway, I believe this is the first time I've done this, and it might not be, but this is what a hand tattoo full saturation will tend to look like when you're done. If I had gone to my fingers, I wouldn't be able to bend them at all, but right now I can still bend them because we only did half. I've mentioned that in the past, that that's fairly common. This is the second pass, so we didn't have to work the knuckles as hard, so it's not as swollen, but the swelling will fill out more as the day goes on. So right when we did this tattoo, it wasn't very swollen at all. And Terry was kind of gloating about how he got it in pretty solid without, fucking up my hand too bad. But I know what I'm looking at, and by this time tomorrow, it'll be a baseball mitt. And that's fine. That's normal. I fully expect this part of my hand to again turn into this weird, mushy, kind of spongy texture. That's what has happened the last 5 or 6 times I've worked on this hand. Ever since I had an infection in this hand, the top tissue doesn't heal the same way. And when I go home and shower tonight, I'll basically be dry healing this bad boy almost the entire way. Once it starts crisping up a bit, I will go to using a light coat of Aquaphor as normal. But there are parts of this tattoo that will stay weepy for days. And when a tattoo's weepy and open like that, you're more prone to infection or things going wrong, dropout. It's just better to try and seal things up. So if you have a weepy spot on your tattoo or a mushy spot like I mentioned, I could probably show you in a few days' time if I did an update on this. I'd be able to show you exactly what I mean by that, and it would scare the hell out of some people who don't know what they're looking at. But I will almost guaranteed have almost an island of scar tissue raised up that's just soggy and weird looking. And then as the healing goes on, that kind of decreases and solids up and then eventually flakes off as normal. So having seen that time and time again, I have a very good degree of comfort with it, and it doesn't stress me out. But the first couple times I've seen that, I always thought, am I infected? Because if I pressed on that, and I won't, but if I pressed on that skin, you would have plasma leak out, which would look almost like pus or something if you didn't know any better. But that's completely normal. It's also completely normal for it to be that bloody. Some of that is red ink. Some of that seep out is plasma from the tattoo session, and some of it is blood. Again, I've got tons of scar tissue in my hands, and whenever you tattoo certain parts of my hands, they just bleed right away. There's also parts of my arm that are like that, where I have been chewed up pretty bad, and you run a needle over it and it immediately bleeds. It's very common for scarring to bleed, so this will probably be bleeding a little bit all night. But I find that having a nice hot shower after a tattoo session takes away some of the pain, and obviously you can get cleaned up. I tend to take a shower after tattoo about 3 hours after, and I just clean my tattoos twice a day. I've talked about this before, but antibacterial soap, once in the shower, once at the end of the day, just for the first 2 days. Then I don't really worry about it anymore as far as cleaning it goes. I just do a light coat of Aquaphor twice a day. Nothing really remarkable to say about the pain of this session. It was basically a redo of the last time, except Terry tried a few different things on this part of my hand because it's not been taking the ink very well. So he tried to saturate it a little bit differently. He said to me that part of the fun of working on me is that he always is trying different things because it's a fun challenge to see if you can saturate Remy, right? See if you can get Remy to keep ink. Not just with the black, but also some parts of me are fairly scarred. Others aren't bad at all, but I think if you're tattooing me, the fun of it is the challenge round, right? It's like seeing exactly what you can do, and then it probably is a bit of a compliment to you if you can get it to work, right? So I think it strokes his ego a little bit to be able to do different things like that on me, and then if they work, then that's great. And then if they don't work, then it's back to the drawing board, right? So technique-wise, he changed up a few things. In terms of the tattoo itself, it was all done with a 15 mag. Nothing special. Saturated as per normal. He tried to go a little bit deeper and a little bit more pressure on this side of my hand, for those wondering. He put as much pressure as possible, almost as if he was tattooing a palm. So I will obviously be showing off how it heals. And probably next time I show it off, it won't be fully healed. It will be in that mostly healed stage. I could possibly be having another session tomorrow with Rick. He wanted to stay late and work on me tomorrow after his first appointment to make up for canceling on me this week. But I'm not holding my breath on that. I'm not really going to be upset either way. If we do it, I'm game. I'm always game to get tattooed. I'm at a place in my life where I could probably sit for a tattoo every day, and I could probably heal it fine too. But I also don't need it every day either. Like, it's kind of like, it's more fun for me than it is a necessity. Like, some people will think I have this tattoo addiction, and it's quite possible that I do. But it's never a need, it's always a want. So, for example, when he canceled on me this week, I wasn't annoyed because I had a million other things that I want to do with my time if that happens. So, it wasn't like, oh, I can't go on. It's more like, well, that sucks, but, I mean, I'm in it for the long haul, so what's missing a week, you know? Anyway, don't want to rant too much. I've already ranted enough for the day. Just wanted to do this video while this was fresh. I didn't know which direction I was going to go in. I always have a million things I can talk about. So, again, not too much pain. It's not that swollen yet, but it will be. And again, I know exactly what I'm looking at. I also know it's not going to be this red at the end of it. Certainly not this bright. All we're trying for is to see if we can get it as solid as that. Tonality, the color, will be like that. It won't be this bright red. I'm just hoping that we can get it solid, not bright. If we could get it that solid, that would be a fucking dream. But, yeah, we'll see what we get. I don't mind hitting this 5 times, realistically. It takes half an hour, and it's not a really, really painful session, so we can do it as many times as it takes. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.